mean, she always knew, but I'm just saying when something tragic like that happens and you haven't said, I love you to that person, it can haunt you in a different way.
Okay, so Chilli just said something that's got everybody side-eyeing the past all over again. In a recent resurfaced clip, she revealed that Lisa had things she was holding back, things she never got the chance to fully speak on. For years, fans have had this weird feeling that Lisa's passing wasn't just some random car accident in Honduras. She had stepped away from TLC, she was working on her solo career, and she had just joined Death Row, basically aligning herself with Diddy's biggest rival, Suge Knight. And don't forget, she was super close to Tupac too, another person who had beef with Diddy and didn't live to tell the full story. Left Eye was always outspoken, always digging into truths others were too scared to touch. So when she passed away suddenly, while filming a documentary to tell her side, that never sat right. People close to Lisa said she felt like something or someone was following her. And now, all these years later, with Diddy facing trial, Chilli's words sound different. And if you think this is just some wild conspiracy, just wait till you hear the full story.
It was a little weird being in the presence of Tupac, and we're very similar. Similar to the point where we almost clashed. Both Geminis, and it was almost like 4 people being in a room.
Alright, let's talk about Left Eye's final days, because something about that trip to Honduras never felt right. On paper, she was there for Pete, to get away from the chaos of the music industry and cleanse herself spiritually. She had gone to be with Dr. Sebi, the controversial herbalist known for his natural healing, but for people paying attention, it looked like more than just a wellness retreat. It looked like an escape. Lisa had been dealing with label drama, money issues, and personal battles. She was tired of being controlled, tired of being silenced, so she packed her bags and left the US. Right after cutting ties with Arista and signing with Suge Knight's Death Row. That alone raised eyebrows. But here's what really gets people talking. While she was in Honduras, she was filming a documentary, a visual diary for something bigger, maybe even a message for the world in case something happened to her. And then came that clip, the one that gives people chills to this day. She talks about a spirit that's been following her. She even points out that just days earlier, someone else in her group passed away in a car crash. It was like a warning. Lisa believes she was the real target and that the spirit got the wrong Lisa. Whether you believe in spirits or not, that moment was different. It felt like a premonition, like she knew her time was almost up. But what if the danger wasn't spiritual at all? What if it was something real?
That means every time an album gets sold, TLC gets 56 cents. So 10 million records, $5.6 million. Seems like a lot of money. Well, it's not a lot of money when the record company has spent $3 million to record your album. And in the record business, we pay all costs back to the record company. We pay recording costs, video costs. So now we have $2.6 million left. Well, guess what? When you have that much money, you're in about the 47, 48, 49% tax bracket. So that immediately gets deducted to $1.3 million. Then you split the rest 3 ways. You got about $300,000 a piece, if that much. Okay? $300,000. I can buy a nice house with that. And what am I gonna pay my bills with?
Now, to understand how deep this goes, you have to look at the business side. TLC had been fighting a losing battle against the people who controlled their careers and their money. Their contract with LaFace Records looked good on the surface, but once you peeled it back, it was a disaster. LaFace was connected to Arista, and at the top of that chain was Clive Davis. At their peak, TLC was selling millions of records, dominating charts, and winning Grammys, but behind the scenes, they were broke. They even filed for bankruptcy because out of all the money they made, reportedly $75 million, 0 cents, from Crazy Sexy Cool, they only saw about $50,000, 0 cents each. That's when they said enough is enough. So one day, TLC rolls up to Arista's office to confront Clive directly. Lisa led the charge. They weren't playing. This wasn't a PR stunt. They were angry and they wanted answers. Chilli later revealed that Diddy was actually there when they showed up, and he was the one who told Clive what was happening. Allegedly, he snitched on them, called ahead, and let everyone know the girls were coming to make noise. And here's where things really start to get shady, because Diddy didn't just snitch. According to some sources, he took it personally. Diddy had always played nice with the power players, especially Clive, and if you go against Clive, you're stepping on Diddy's turf too. That day, they interrupted Diddy's meeting, demanded to know where the money was, and kicked him out of the room. Lisa didn't hold back, and it made her a target. From that moment on, rumors started. People close to the group said Diddy was furious. He didn't like how Lisa challenged authority. And when she started talking about exposing the truth about how they were treated, about what really goes on behind those closed doors, Diddy saw that as a threat. And if there's one thing Lisa was known for, it was speaking her mind. She was planning a solo album, she was aligned with Suge Knight, and people say she was ready to blow the whistle on some of the wild things she had witnessed over the years, including Diddy's wild party. But if Diddy really saw Left Eye as a threat, who else might have helped cover it all up? Let's talk about the Usher connection, because Chilli's history with him brings a whole new angle to this story. The two were once one of the most talked about couples in R&B. At the time, they seemed like the perfect pair, but what if that relationship wasn't just about romance? What if Chilli's closeness to Usher also meant she knew more about his connection to Diddy and possibly what Lisa was up against?
I mean, I'm 13 years old. I'm not here to party with you. I don't want to go to the clubs. Matter of fact, I'm too young to even be in here. Why you got me in clubs? There were a lot of things I seen and a lot of positions that I think I was put in where I had to make very, very tough decisions in my life about who I would be.
Usher's connection to Diddy goes way back. Most people already know Diddy mentored Usher when he was just a teen. He lived in New York with Diddy while working on his early music, and according to several old interviews, those early days were wild. Diddy wasn't shy about throwing parties, even with young Usher in them. That kind of exposure raises a lot of questions now, especially with everything coming out in recent lawsuits. In some of the court documents, Usher's name pops up as someone who was there when some pretty dark things allegedly went down. One lawsuit mentioned a dinner where Usher, Nayo, and others were present when Diddy pushed Cassie in front of everyone. No one stepped in, no one said anything. And now fans are wondering, was Usher just a bystander, or was he deeper than we ever thought? Now go back to Lisa Left Eye. She was always the most outspoken member of TLC. If she saw something, she was going to say something, and if she had plans to expose people, including Diddy, Usher would have known about it. Chilli might have known too, but the way she talks about Lisa's final days makes you wonder if she was trying to protect Usher from being dragged into whatever storm Lisa saw coming. But Lisa wasn't just talking, she was moving. In 2002, she shocked the industry by signing with Death Row Records. That was Suge Knight's territory, basically enemy number one for Diddy. The two had already been going back and forth for years, and now Lisa has made her choice. She stepped away from the Arista Clive Diddy system and walked straight into the arms of Suge. This wasn't just about music. Lisa was trying to regain control. She felt stifled under her label and wanted freedom to say what she really felt. Her move to Death Row was her way of breaking the cycle. But aligning with Suge was dangerous, especially if she already had information that could damage Diddy or his ally. Her bond with Tupac adds even more weight. They were so close that people thought they were secretly together. She looked up to him, respected how he spoke out against the industry, and likely shared his distrust of people like Diddy. So when she joined Suge's camp, some say it wasn't just for creative freedom, it was solidarity. It was a stand. And some folks believe that's the moment she became a real threat. And if that wasn't bold enough, Lisa's decision to align with Suge might have just made her the biggest threat of all. Then came the crash. April 25th, 2002, Lisa was in Honduras with a small group of friends and spiritual advisors. They were riding in a rented SUV on an empty road. Lisa was behind the wheel. According to the reports, she swerved to avoid a truck that suddenly braked. At the same time, another car appeared from the opposite direction. She lost control. The vehicle flipped and Lisa was thrown from the car. But here's what doesn't sit right with a lot of people. Why did the truck stop like that on a quiet road? And why did another car just happen to be coming straight toward her at that exact moment? The timing, the setup, it all felt too suspicious. Even worse, Lisa was the only one who passed away, the only person not wearing a seatbelt. Everyone else survived. Her autopsy confirmed there were no substances or alcohol in her system. She wasn't impaired, she wasn't being reckless, and yet she was the only one taken out. Now here's where it gets messy, because what happened on that road doesn't add up.
When you're in pain, that's just don't want to hear any of that. And it took me, like you're saying, it took me a long time to refer to her in the past, because it was just, I couldn't believe it.
When Chilli spoke about Lisa's final days, there was a heaviness in her voice that you couldn't ignore. Chilli mentioned that Lisa had been through a lot, that she was in a reflective space during those last few weeks. She said Lisa was filming everything, documenting her thoughts, her surroundings, even the little things. It wasn't just for a documentary. It was like she was leaving behind pieces of a puzzle, and Chilli made it clear that Lisa wanted to tell her truth. There was also something telling in the way Chilli danced around certain topics. She didn't blame anyone directly, but the fact that she even brought up how so much went on behind the scenes made people stop and think. It sounded like Chilli had been holding back for years, and now, with Diddy under fire, maybe she finally felt safe enough to let a few things slip. And now everything is shifting, Diddy's facing a massive trial and his past is catching up, and more people are coming forward with details that sound similar to what Lisa may have been trying to expose. At the same time, fans are turning their attention to Usher. With his long-standing connection to Diddy, people are starting to question what he saw and what he knew. He's not being accused directly, but silence has a weight of its own. And right now, staying silent is starting to feel like complicity to a lot of people. A person commented saying, "Left Eye was trying to save us all. She knew way more than they ever wanted her to reveal. Diddy knew it too." Another one added, "Usher better speak up. He was around for all of it. Silence won't protect you when the truth comes out." Now we want to hear from you. Do you guys think Chilli was dropping real clues about what Lisa knew? And could Usher be holding back information that connects all of this? Drop your thoughts in the comments and subscribe to our channel for more updates. See y'all in the next video.